Hello, guys. Welcome to Coveys Grassroots show, Boxing Day edition. Hope you've enjoyed your Merry Christmas. Apologies for the lateness. Yeah, Merry Christmas to you as well, Covey. Apologies for the lateness. It's my fault, technical issues and all the rest of it now. But again, Merry Christmas to you all watching in. Covey, how did you spend your Christmas? How was it?
I was working, mate.
Oh, man.
I know I'm fat and I've got a white beard, but they're taking liberties with me this year, make me work on Christmas Day. I was like, what? So obviously I've got a new job now, and it's all to do with like the New York Stock Exchange. So it's 24/7, 365 days a year. So yeah, I was just unfortunate that I was last man in, and I was rotated into Christmas Day and Boxing Day. But it was all right though. It was all right. They cooked us a nice. We had a nice Christmas dinner in there yesterday. So it's nice.
No,
what did you do? You all right? You have a good one?
Yeah, mum was quiet. Just spend it with the mum. Obviously,
hey mum.
Hey mum. Someone's mum. No, my mum. But yeah, we just stayed indoors, just watched all the usual soaps and stuff. I've already seen Danny S in here saying Clint's watching EastEnders. No, I'm not watching EastEnders.
Yeah, EastEnders are in the background. Mate, I tell you what, I ain't watched EastEnders for about 15 years, mate, and you're tempting me, mate. You are probably tempting me. I ain't watched it. I don't know what's going on.
It is very, very tempting. But trust me, please no spoilers in the comment section, please. Please be nice. Yeah.
What about Newcastle scores? What about Newcastle updates?
No, yeah, go on then. Look, we're going to lose anyway. Might as well. Listen, I'm not going to waste any more time because I know we've got a lot of people to get through. I've already got one person waiting backstage who's very, very special. So without further ado, let's bring in the man himself.
There he is.
What do you mean special? What special needs? What?
Not at all, man. Not at all. I could have seen all of the face like, when's he going to get me on? I thought I get him on. How you doing,
thanks for coming on, John.
Yeah, not bad. What about you guys? You all right?
Not too bad.
Good,
not too bad.
Yeah,
we're all right.
I was just listening. Yeah, same Christmas as everybody else. Just listening to your Christmas. It's more or less the same as everybody else, isn't it? Yeah, quiet one this year. Missed the kids. I mean, my boy's still at home, but missed the kids. Missed my two daughters, and yeah, you do like the thing. Play a few games.
You normally be out in a cab today, John?
No chance. No. Well, maybe having a little look round, like, but just like I'll slip in and out and go in and like a few sales. You know what I mean? But obviously everything's shut, innit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's you know how it goes. It's like too much to eat. A few games followed by flatulence and dozing in front of the telly.
Are you
John, you're looking well, mate.
That's pretty much
Yeah. Now I was doing. I watched the football today, and
where was your loyalties?
What with regards to like the
Chelsea?
Arsenal Chelsea. Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it?
Tough one for you, isn't it?
It is a tough one because the old man brought me up as an Arsenal supporter, even though I were like right throughout. Even when we first got married, I bought an house a stone's throw from the Spurs ground. Yeah. We've always lived right around the corner from the Spurs ground on the borders of Edmonton and Tottenham. And then he says to me, like, I said, like, Dad, can we go football? And yeah, on one condition, we only go over the Arsenal because he's out of Kentish Town, the old man. You know what I mean? Queen's Crescent.
Yeah, you got.
Yeah, so like he's from the age of about 5 or 6, he always went over there on the North Bank every home game. Yeah, put me on his shoulders and then lifted me over the turnstile, so he didn't have to pay for me.
How do you think they done today?
Honestly and truly, Bill, I ain't got a clue. I ain't seen. The only football I've seen is the Villa Palace game. I don't know result. What it is, I like the surprise. Like the thing. I'll get on the Twitter and like as it's like when we go through the thing, match of the day or match of the day 2, I'll start tweeting about the game.
You don't know how Arsenal Chelsea.
No. You're gonna nose it now. You're gonna nose it, ain't you? You're gonna spoil it. There's a spoiler. There's a spoiler coming.
I've got to tell you, mate. I've got to tell you.
Go on then. What fucking 3-1?
3-1. We done them.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, Arsenal 3-1.
Yeah.
He's not lying. He's lying. He's not lying.
And when you say do you mean Chelsea or Spurs or Arsenal?
Arsenal won 3-1.
Arsenal won 3-1. See, and this is the thing, right? So like this is eerie because I was going to go. I've been on Twitter this morning, or like round about the midday mark, you know, like just overslept. So sometimes I stayed up sort of like playing games, watched a bit of telly, watched a bit of Elvis, A Low Half from Away. I watched a bit of Britain's favourite sitcoms. I watched the end of a film I've watched it about 4 times now. A great film called Defiance on Netflix. And then, so I finally started tweeting, and I promise you, I was tempted to say on Twitter that as a consequence of all the flack that he's been taking, Arteta, although I've been sticking up for him on all the podcasts I've done, guaranteed they'll turn it round down the London derby. Which tells me there's a core element, there's something wrong there up here. Do you know what I mean? Like turning it on for big games or London derbies. You know what I mean? It ain't on.
Yeah, we dropped to Aubameyang, didn't he? Dropped to Aubameyang.
Big players. I mean, brought in
Smith Rowe came in.
Yeah.
Smith Rowe had a blinder, really, for an hour. Played for an hour. He had a blinder, to be fair to him.
Yeah.
Xhaka scored a 25-yard top corner free kick.
You never would have believed it.
I'll let to leave him alone then for a little while, because I'm one of them ones. I mean, I'm looking at it like when I've done a thing the other week, a podcast the other week, I'm thinking to myself, it was I'm being asked the questions, I'm going through it, and I'm thinking, the goalkeeper for me is a tick. Yeah, he's a plus. Seems like a good guy, good goalkeeper, very capable. I like Tierney. Left back, I think there's a tremendous amount of raw materials to work with Gabriel. And then after that, struggling. For me, I'm struggling. Then I look at midfield, thinking to myself, having been a victim of it myself, like back years ago, a long time ago now, when I was 18 and a half, you know, some people, what can happen is you can make your debut too early. So I'm thinking to myself, like they've thrown kids in at Arsenal who might have been a bit before their time. That's as a consequence, like it was with me at Chelsea, poor recruitment and selling the family silver. And then you look up front, I'm looking at the formation, I think that's wrong. I'm looking at midfield, I'm thinking to myself, too easy for Arts and the other week to have a pop at him, Willian. You know what I mean? And I think he's at the back of the queue. I think if anything, when someone's played well in midfield for Arsenal, it's been him. But there's no enforcer, there's no boss, there's no one. Exactly. There's no one screening the back four. You say right, like in Kante style, he covers every blade, breaks it up, and then just gives it to someone to get on with it. There's no real creativity, out and out creativity. So then, as a consequence, up front, Lacazette and Aubameyang, they're redundant. And I've got someone telling me Aubameyang's a world-class player. So it doesn't matter how world-class you are. If you're not getting any supply, if there's no crosses coming, no combination play around the box, he might as well be standing there scratching his nuts. You know what I mean? Which he's been doing.
But isn't that what Partey was meant to be there for? He was meant to be that sort of Kante role, breaking up the play. Obviously, he's not played as many games, but I thought that's what he was, the whole song does. Literally.
Yeah, well, hopefully he does come in and do that. But funny to say about Leno, he saved the penalty today as well. So I'm really pleased for him. Do his confidence the world of good, to be fair, because he took a bit of a knocking, hasn't he?
He's been all right. He's been pretty consistent, I think. The downside is it blows out of the water my theory on. I think I said like Man City are coming to the boil lovely. Liverpool we know about, and Chelsea had a blip at Everton, I know, but I just said I thought the league was out of them three. That's what I thought. But I just think like now Chelsea, like they've probably dropped too many points, and even at this early stage, you know what I mean. You'll see beg your pardon, City. I think they'll get on a run. Well, they should get on a run. They're coming to the ball quite nicely, but I just said whoever finishes above Liverpool will win it. Yeah.
No, we better stop talking about Arsenal. Sorry, because all the Tottenham people watching to get the Arsenal.
Now, John, I want you to talk me through a particular photo. I don't know if you can see it on screen here. Do you remember this photo?
Hold on, fuck me. It's just I've got the ears, but I ain't got the eyes anymore. I've got to put my bins on. Hold on.
Have a look and see if you recognise it.
Yeah.
You recognise that one?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, that was. I was asked to do an end-season presentation. I think that would have been during my time at Leyton Orient.
That's right.
And, have I got Anki in the top pocket? Yep, I think that's.
Who's that standing in front of you?
I like to think that's a Boss Blazer, but it's probably Marks and Spencer's.
Who's that in front of you, John?
I don't know. Is it Bill?
That's me, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was funny. That's unbelievable. That was at Wadham. That was when we played for. That was for Wadham. Who's the guy on the left? Who's the guy to the left? Is that Pike? Is that Pike from Orient?
No, I don't think so. Give me can I have another look at it? I don't think. Let me have another look at it. No, that is. Hold on. Let me have an extra thing. Let's have a close look. Nah, that ain't Pikey. Nah, it's too tall for Pikey.
Yeah, he's tailored him. He's proper tailored, isn't he?
Yeah. He's
So, John, everyone's been. I've been dying to talk to you, mate, ever since obviously we started following each other on Twitter and all that. I know my mate Terry has interviewed you for Vast Media last year or the year, but I think it was the year before, to be fair.
Yeah.
Got your book. I took your book of work today, and I read that again today.
How'd you get on with it?
I was really busy. I've read it. This was second time today, so I was. When you read it again, I was sort of the Terry Howard section.
You're going to fucking spoil me Christmas now. It's gonna, again. You know what I said this morning? Right, just very quickly, right? I said, like, what you'll see who's had you both know the score. Right? So, what you see, like, with regards to the Boxing Day fixtures and then the day after, right? You'll see who's knuckled down and been professional.
Yeah.
And one of my rants on the thing, it was like 4 times in about 12 months. One of my rants was at Brentford, where it was 3-0 down after 20 minutes. So I said this morning, you'll see who's like overindulged at Christmas, gone out Christmas Eve, got legging, got up at the crack of noon on Christmas Day, had too much to eat, had too much red wine or white wine in the case of turkey. Although, as it happens, I had a nice Chateau Neuf de Pape yesterday, but I had half a glass. Yeah, and then it's this guy and a drinker. I learned my lesson from Chelsea. I couldn't afford it. You know what I mean? In terms of like in overindulging, because I was never a good enough athlete. But
that was in the book as well. When you bought around, but you didn't buy champagne.
Yeah, well, I got in the wrong company, and I thought it was like Jack the Biscuit. You know what I mean? Fucking swanning down the King's Road. But you know, what it is, you find out who's overindulged. You find out like they're a yard and a half off the pace. They're too slow. The decision making is either too slow and or wrong. And what can happen is what happened to me all those years ago, which is why I went schizo. And it was like on the Christmas evening, I said to the lads, "Do you want to come in Christmas morning, get it out of the way, because we've got to do a bit." It's a derby. I mean, it ain't Spurs Arsenal, but it's still a derby. We've got Brentford, and we've got to run through their bits and pieces. I think I'm right in saying it was something like an 11:30 kickoff or 11 o'clock kickoff. Or do you want to come in the afternoon, or do you want to spend Christmas Day, open the presents with your kids, if you've got any, and have your lunch, and then we'll do a bit in the night? And they've got the captain to canvas the chaps. So, you know, I thought it was sort of decent management in terms of like batting it over to them and being a bit, you know, rather than a dictatorship, giving them option. Anyway, we come in and 40 minutes was too much for some of them.
Yeah.
They complained about it was too long a session, 40 minutes on Christmas night. Yeah, fucking amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that reading your book, John, I think my take on the old documentary thing was fucking outrageous. You got. I think you've got like the 20 to 35-year-olds that just see you as that and think, "Oh, he's like a fucking nutter. He's just a nutter. He's a screamer. He's a bully. He's a nutter." And that's how you was portrayed on that fucking program. And I think it's a fucking liberty. And I would urge people to if they can still get hold of your book, John, because it's a really good book, and it shows to me. I was having a conversation with you this morning, someone, that what a pro you were. You know, you was a proper professional, and you wanted to set them you had standards, because when you played, obviously going back to your book again, when you worked your way into Chelsea, you fucking grafted your way into that club. Yeah. Every day, walking, getting the bus, and fucking unbelievable. And you don't see that anymore. And people wouldn't. When people see you on Twitter, and you know, all they relate to you is that documentary.
Yeah.
And it's a fucking shambles that's the case, because
I ended up doing 6 jobs for it. Yeah, the club.
I know.
Some would say it ain't really. I think with something like one promotion, like not counting the one out of non-league, which is in itself is despicable. The thought of them actually going down to non-league. Just to hatch a plan very quickly. When I was at Chelsea, right, Leyton Orient were always revered as like everybody's second favourite team. So when their team was away, they'd go over the Orient. B, they were always in the top echelon, and I would say the top 6, 7, 8 of what is now the Championship. So for me to see them slip into non-league like a couple of years ago, you just think to yourself, what's going on here? So it's almost there's no real progress being made. You know what I mean? But that being said, I take quite a keen interest now in. I like to think, like, although I don't come across it, but that's because the world's off its axis. You know what I mean? I'm very direct. I talk straight. My opinion's always like based on facts. I don't just say something. I say something based on something that's proven, or that, like I say, not without research. And to me, it's like the fucking world's off its axis. You know what I mean? All this PC bullshit and blah blah blah. We can go on and on, and I could be here till 2 in the morning with you about all of it. You know what I mean? The stories I'm hearing that are filtering back. But politics, football, the cap trade, journalism, and something I disagree with. Picking you up and saying you said, I was here the other week by Jane Moore, the journalist, and she said that you were sticking up for Pretty Patel. She said about the word bully. The definition to her is the same definition to me. The definition of the word bully is someone who goes around hurting other people, which I've never done, not unless they've started it first and they've asked for it. In actual fact, in some cases, fucking begging for it. I like to think I'm an honourable man. So she said the definition of a bully is someone who goes around hurting people, which I don't, or someone who actually is accused of bullying because they've placed demands on the people around them. And all I was guilty of was trying to shake the place out of its apathy and like you said, picking up the thread again of my time at Chelsea after my early misdemeanors, making a mistake of judging people by my own standards in how I approach training and how I approach games. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's a quote in the book saying that one of the biggest mistakes you made was thinking that they was going to be as professional as what you were, as what you are. And because obviously you grew up under some fucking fantastic managers, you played for some fantastic managers. Your bar is so much higher than theirs.
Yeah, listen, people, sorry to intercede. When I was at places like not so much Millwall under George Petchey, who was a legend in my eyes on his own, the best manager by a country mile I played under, and discovered the likes of Leyton Orient, like Bobby Fischer and in particular Laurie Cunningham. Do you know what I mean? And got round him and supported him back in the dark days of the 70s. All the racist shit that was going on, do you know what I mean? And I'm one of them. I grew up on a council estate, so I ain't got a fucking clue what racism is, what it's about. You know what I mean? If you grew up on a council estate in London, everyone was mixed in together. This is latter day bollocks, you know what I mean? Like millennial whips, the middle class millennial whips that's telling working class people of my generation how to think and how to conduct yourself. We was like my pals. We was like the fucking United Colours of Benetton before the company was even thought of. You know what I mean? My best mate was Anton Osborne of Jamaica. My other best mate, I married his sister, a Greek Cypriot, and then there was me and another English kid, and that was our little firm together. You know what I mean, with the football. But you look at that. Places like Gillingham and Leyton Orient in particular, sometimes I felt like screaming like at the top of my voice, like fucking like Peter Eustace, Frank Clark in particular. He kept me on the same money for 4 years, Big Peacock at Gillingham. So in effect, I was on the same money for eight years. Do you know what I mean? But that's my fault. I should have just stood around and gone, like, not do you know who I am, but like, you actually know like the fucking Coveys I've played under. And who taught me the game, taught me the basics that were bedded in. And when they're bedded in, you'll know as well as you two will know as well as I do. They stay with you for life. Yeah. Good habits stay with you for life. I'm looking at that today, that debacle today. The Villa Palace game, I'm just thinking to myself, like, who's fucking drilling this firm? You know what I mean? Palace need a massive clear out. I've named about 7. I'd include, if you include the manager, his assistant. I've got two schools of thought. One is like he's performed nothing short of minor miracles with no transfer budget. But now I think he's come to the end of his thing, because I look at it and I think like you're hanging on, and it's like you're servicing your ego. When you get to 73, what you got in common with a 24-year-old kid from South London? Do you know what I mean? I don't get it. You know what I mean? It's not, and it needs modern thinking and/or massive investment, because there's too many not up the thing. Then I'm looking at the Villa thing. Every time he plays Mings, he keeps proving me right. Do you know what I mean? There's 2 or 3 mistakes in him every game, and today he made 2.5. Yeah, and you're looking at it, you just think to yourself, I don't understand how people are not screaming at them from the touchline, and if they are, they're not taking any notice. Like, they always look like they're going to get done on the rebound. You know what I mean? When I was playing and when I coached, I was always boxed in the back line, or I was hearing from the touchline, like, be ready, it's coming back at you. Do you know what I mean? And you look at it, both teams look like they were going to get hit on the break at any given moment. And that's that level, the Premier League level. I can't believe the fundamental mistake.
Exactly. So you, at the end, I know you've said in the past as well about you didn't miss it, and then all of a sudden you did miss it. And would you get back into the game, because you've got much more, you've got so much to offer, Johnny? It's unreal. We've got a coach who's going to be on the show later, George Young, and when I read the book and I speak to George, some of your wording is exactly the same. So he's like, he's older than me, 10, 12 years older than me. Good player, hard, and he does things properly. He's a proper professional person in life and in football, and that's what he's trying to instill at our club, at Bishop Stortford Swifts. And I just think that you remind me of him. So you've got there's so many players, young players, that could benefit from your input, and I just think it's a waste for you to be, just on a Saturday watching fucking Aston Villa Crystal Palace. Obviously today you can't help that, but 2021, you got to do something, mate. You got to get back in. You got to.
Yeah, well, I tend to agree. I mean, when I come out, what it is, Bill, people, I think they're wary. Like they might have been misled or misguided with regards to me being. First of all, if someone was to endorse me, I wouldn't betray them. That's the type of person I am. I wouldn't want to let anyone down. Secondly, I think what it is, people may be a little bit reticent because they think that I might be a loose cannon and say the wrong thing at the wrong time. I had 4 very enjoyable non-league jobs when I came out of the programme. I mean, after 18 months, I packed up applying because I had to be pragmatic. I had 3 small children, At the time, they were 7, 4 and 3. We had 3 and 4 years. And I'd never earned any money from the playing place. I mean, I look at players now in the lower divisions, 80, 90, 100 odd grand a year. Non-league, I saw a non-league game, Orient. The year they went up anyway, under Edinburgh, under Dover. And some of the money that I heard sort of players were on at Dover, I mean, I'll go over by it. You know what I mean? If they earn it, you don't mind. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? If the chairman's and the club are benevolent enough to say, well, this is the budget and this is what we're going to pay you. If they're worth it and they earn it, you don't mind. But it blew me away. Do you know what I'm thinking to myself? What? How can you possibly justify that amount of money? Looking at the quality out there, looking at the standards out there, looking at it boils down to one thing, Bill. You listen. You don't need me to tell either of you, right? It's like in life. It's like you're looking at it, you just think, right, if I'm looking at a player, you've got like probably 3, 5, 6 set criteria for each position. But then within that criteria, I'm looking at the player and I'm saying, what does he bring to the party? What does he bring to the table? And if you can't start reeling off assets, you can't start reeling off what he's bringing to the party, then he's obviously not worth the money. But you see in the pro game, at the highest levels of the pro game, there's never been a better time to be a footballer, because a lot of them, you're getting money rolled rope. You know what I mean? And they're making, they're consistent, but the consistency is the poor decisions they're making and the same mistakes they're making week after week. That's the only consistency about them. I don't understand it. Honestly, don't understand it. But I mean, I would have loved to, even if it was like. I think George follows me on Twitter because the name rings a bell big time. I'm looking at it. I'm thinking to myself,
It'll be on later.
As maybe I don't know, an advisor, a mentor, or I don't know, someone who could oversee things. I'm looking at that. What do you think about this director of football? And I said, well, it depends on, you know, the job description. I got my ideas on what it should be. You know, but then I'm looking at it, I'm thinking to myself, they're making all these slots. Technical director, what does that mean? Director of football, what does that mean? Manager, what does that mean? I have these rows with Alan Hudson, heated debate on our podcast, the football. It's a podcast. Someone today's talking about Harry Maguire. I said, well, fucking, we've done him 3 months ago. They're going on about Rashford. We've done him 3 months ago. They're going on about Grealish. We've done him 4 months ago. Do you know what I mean? So you've got people in football, they're 5 time zones behind their own arsehole. You know what I mean? And they're getting paid fortunes. Yeah, that's just me. I mean, listen, I'll go, I'll form an opinion, I'll come out with it. What happens is, it's like life, Bill, right? There's too many people, they're happy to keep their head just below the wall.
Yeah, exactly that.
But I'm one of the ones I'll look up and I'll go like, bum, 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 and I'll say my piece.
Yeah,
you know, like, I'm going to make enemies with my second book, no doubt, because I've got opinions on everything. About politics, about the United Kingdom, about the former British Empire, about the former British Commonwealth or the British Commonwealth. Do you know what I mean? I think we've been let down since 1947, since Marshall money was spread around Europe. And you know,
when's that book out?
Well, I was just talking to my wife about it. What I wanted to do, see, like, I've got, first of all, there was a thing like legal wise, so you have a read through. Saying, oh, this could be litigious, blah blah blah. So you go, all right, we fucking take it out, rewrite it. Then there's something else. Then we've had COVID. That set me back another 6 months because I couldn't get down to you can't go to the printers. You can do a lot online, but with regards to design and layout, but when it comes to actually, you know, person to person contact, obviously I played the game. But like anything else, when you play the game, it's very naive, even at 61. I know I don't look it, but even at 61, like, when you play the game, you get penalised. If you play the game and bat straight, I mean, all the you know, I'm caught between a rock and a hard place. You know what I mean? A totally incompetent government on one side, and then you got like fucking hipster millennials who think they're bulletproof, who ain't lived by the rules, and then that's why we're going around in circles. You know what I mean? The only circle I want to be going around in is like in London to try and get a living, but you can't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, fucking on it goes.
Yeah. Well, like you say, we could be talking to you for hours, John. And we've got a lot of people coming on tonight, and I personally want to thank you for coming on, mate. You know, I love you to bits, mate. And,
no problem.
And if someone does, you know, just come out and buy the book, or I'll borrow the book to anyone who wants to read it, and you'll have a different opinion on this man.
Yeah, better still go to the website. Right?
Yeah, you've still got loads on there, yeah?
Yeah, www.therealsits.co.uk. And if they can't handle it on there, then just email me. I'm not computer literate. My boys set all this up. I'm not computer literate. I think I've done everything by pen and paper. Even the book I've done by pen and paper. A pen and four pads of A4. And I think it's time to be sitting for that. But that's another story. But you can email me, Louisa Sitton at tiscali.co.uk. It's spelled Loiza, which is my wife's email address.
We'll put a link out after the show, can't we, Clint?
Yeah, of course, man. Of course. No, I really appreciate it, man. John, appreciate you coming on, man.
All right, mate.
I've just been quiet the whole time just because I've been just soaking it all in, man. It's been really refreshing to hear your point of view, man. So
what we do, Clint, maybe one night we get on, we talk about a little bit more football, a bit more technical side, a bit more about Grassroots. I mean, see, the thing Rootz TV is never more aptly named. You know what I mean? With all the bullshit I've been hearing since I would work for the FA from the age of 28. I'm 61, still saying the same thing. You know what I mean, about grassroots football. People don't understand, right? What they've got to understand is, firstly, if they've got to cover their tracks better than they've done. If they're going to tell lies to the likes of me, they better have a fucking good memory. You understand what I'm saying? Because I've been listening to the same bullshit message and the same contradictions since I was 28, and I was staffing coaching courses for the FA. Do you know what I mean?
We've got a 2021 John Sitton special. Hour and a 90-minute long show.
In my head, I think Jake Murphy's even said, look, I think you should do a whole show, right? Listen, don't want spoilers, John. We don't want no more spoilers. Keep it.
All right.
We want that for next time, but okay. Appreciate your time.
The John Sitton show. That's it. It's done.
Oh, God. No, you could be happy to trust me. John,
we'll have an half-time break. We'll have to do 45 minutes each way. We'll have an half-time break, and then if it goes over, we'll play fucking extra time as well. I'm not bothered. It's in there. It's in there. Once it's in there,
I'll bring my dinner.
John, Merry Christmas to you and your family. Happy New Year, mate.
No worries, mate. No worries. And if I don't speak to you before, after all this shit going on with a thing. Incompetent thing. I mean, probably I'll be the same. I'll keep the game. For £7,360, whatever it is, for £7,360 a day, I think I'd keep the fear going. But here's to an healthier, happier new year.
Yeah,
same to you, John. Thank you, mate.
Bye, chat.
All the best.
No.
Legend
indeed, mate. Legend indeed. Thank you very much, Sitz. Wow, what a way to start off the show, man. Yeah. Indeed, we've got
I need a drink, mate.
Whoa.
Rum and coke tonight. Rum and coke.
I've got wine. I'm on the gin. I'm a classy guy. You know what I mean?
Cheers.
Cheers to you. We've got our next guest waiting in the wings, and I think he's actually brought some company with him as well.
Oh, there he is. There he is. Little boy. I've got my baby.
Okay. We'll keep it PG for this bit then. Yeah, we don't want no.
He's not. He's about to go to sleep anyway. He's got a mouthful of milk, so he's happy.
Oh, we'll try and keep it low.
Is Kiers waiting to come on as well or not?
No, not at the moment. Not at the moment. Just Gary at the moment. But Gary, while we're waiting for is Kiers meant to come on with Gary as well? Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right. Well, while we're waiting, we might as well show some of Gary's best bits. Okay, let's have a look at it.
Mate, get after that.
Is that you, Gary?
Yeah, that was quite a while ago.
That was a nice little tuck there. I like that.
That midfielder, he just knew, didn't he? Flat gets after that.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I still remember it. So me and him had just come off the bench, and keeper caught it, and I'm sort of screaming at him, and he's throwing it to Grits, player that had the ball, and I just said to him, "Look, just knock it in behind. I reckon I've got this." And that was that.
He had about 25 yards on you that team.
I know. He's just got to take me out there, hasn't he?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, it's a bit late now. Oh, here we have him, man, at the moment as well.
Yeah,
Cheers. How are you doing?
All good. How are you doing?
Fashionably late.
He's probably just recovering from Monopoly.
Monopoly.
Yeah, he was fuming, wasn't he? He was fuming last night.
58 minutes it was.
I'm sorry, I forgot to do this.
Well, yes. I forgot to get my whistle out as well. Hold on. Here we go.
We just bought a sub on.
Brought 2 new subs in. We've got kids. And we've got Gary as well. And we've got Gary's little one as well, who's all rocking the seat as well. You know what? YouTube baby. To make it fair, it's only fair that we've got to show some of Kiers' best bits as well. Here we go.
Assertively. Out to Kiers. Sam Bowles in the overlap. There's an option here. Sam, great run. Can he use that left foot once again? Cuts it back brilliantly. Oh, no. Kiers now with a strike. What a hit! Oh, my goodness! That is an absolute piece of quality from Kiers, our reserve team manager, in the first team for the first time tonight. He's looked at cutting on the right.
That's disgusting.
The thing is, as soon as he lost his foot, he was not celebrating. He knew it was in.
Oh, man.
He walks off. He does the. He lifts his shirt up, does the old 6-pack, shows everyone his 6-pack, pretends he's wiping his face.
Never had a 6-pack ever. I wish I had one. Jesus.
Oh, mate.
But gents, how's both of your Christmases been anyway?
It's been good, man. You know, family time's always good, especially the last year that everyone's had. it was good to just be with family for Christmas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, same. It's been nice. It's, like for me now, it's all about the kids. So like the 8 and 3-year-olds sort of loved it. Still, just about got the 8-year-old still believing in Father Christmas. So.
What do you mean? He's still real to me.
Hold on a minute.
You know what I mean?
Oh wait, what? Sorry, did I say something?
Yeah, exactly. Come on. Don't ruin the illusion now. Come on.
But boys, did you two ever play together? I know you've been in the same sort of clubs. You've been at Bar. You've both been at Bar.
Never.
You've both been at Grimsby.
No.
You've never ever played together.
No. Never played together.
Right.
Played against
Just
each
missed
other
it.
once.
Played
Yeah.
against each other.
Yeah. Yeah, when
Who's
I was
that
at Stone and he was at Barking.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, he tried to leave me at the far post, wrapped round it. I still remember it well. He just come off the bench.
I do.
Tried to do me.
Oh,
I do remember.
no, is that you?
Fresh legs, eh? Fresh legs.
Kids,
He's
what do you prefer? I know you've got your little hashtag development boys. I know all about them because of obviously Carlos. But
Yeah, of course.
I know you've sort of had you found your second wind now, haven't you? You got in the first team now. You're bossing that midfield. You've got you're bossing the Marlon Beatties centre midfield. It's like, whoa, what? Slow down, greedy.
Mate,
That's
I've come to
greedy.
the end soon. I've come to the end. Got to enjoy the last few years.
Yeah, you're doing that as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Got to do what you can, eh?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
So, what do you prefer, managing or playing?
Do you know what? I've always enjoyed coaching, managing. I've done it since I was 22. You know, so
Yeah.
what I was playing, obviously, I went to Welling and started just coaching kids from there, and then it was always something that I've enjoyed doing. And I knew before I finished, I would get into a player coaching role. Obviously, I went to Barking, done that, and then from then it was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. Pretty sharpish.
How's the academy?
Do you know what? It's all right. We're looking to set up a new one next year, hopefully. COVID providing. Kind of just putting the wheels in motion at the moment, but fingers crossed we can get one started.
Yeah.
Or a new one started, I'd say.
Yeah. Gal, when I was researching you today, Gal, I've watched the video of your goal, and obviously you're going to sign for me next season. I know that anyway, but so we get to make one more. But look at kids, what?
Unreal, sorted, signed.
I saw. I don't know, kids. I don't think you saw the video of Gary's goal, did you? Did you see the video?
Well,
of
when he
Gary's
ran past, when he gave that guy 10 yards and still beat him.
Yeah.
I've seen the one.
They're all
I've seen
rapido.
it.
But your
I've seen it.
your parents and your aunt are like famous runners, aren't they? Like
Yeah, so my
representing Great
dad
Britain.
went to 2 Olympics. Yeah, my dad was a 400-meter runner. He went to Moscow and Montreal, and then my mum, she was a 100-meter runner. She went to European Championships, but she got injured. She ruptured her Achilles, and that ended her career. The way it actually happened was she had an Achilles injury anyway, and they gave her a cortisone injection in her Achilles, and it ruptured her Achilles, and that was that.
Yeah.
So, and then my auntie, she was a 100-meter runner as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So that's where you got the pace. That's where you get the pace.
That line is a lie, you know. That pace, you can see where that pace came from.
Makes a lot of sense,
And what
doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I know you're. We've had a lot of chats, Gal, about missing. You sometimes you miss it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes I mention coming over to me, and then you don't talk to me for the next 3 months.
do you know what? Right. When you've got 3 young kids, it like every day changes. It's just like it's mad. I think especially like, I mean, I've been lucky. I've been working from home since beginning of March. So I'm sort of like one of the fortunate ones, but it just means everything's that much harder when you work from home rather than being in the office, and everything just takes so much time. Like, whereas normally I'd do, like before I was doing kind of 8 till 4, but now kind of like I'm at home, like I've got to help out with the kids and stuff. I try and do 9:30 to 5:30, but a lot of the time I don't finish work till sort of 6, 6:30, and it's just like it's kind of like real long days, and then obviously sort of misses trying to look after 3 kids. where
is that Monday to Friday?
So it was during the first lockdown because obviously the schools weren't open. At the moment, it's better because the schools are open, but they keep on closing them down anyway, just because they get a positive case and they're like, "All right, everyone's got to go and self-isolate for 2 weeks." So it's just hard work.
Yeah.
So,
we don't train, so you can just come Saturdays. That's it. Done.
Free Saturdays.
I'll tell you what, I like that deal.
Shaping it now.
Virtual handshake.
Yes. You see that, kids? You've seen that.
Oh man!
You got to look after young Carlos for kids. I've got one of his boys over with me, mate. Unbelievable. But you've got so many, ain't you? You've got so many though coming through, ain't you? It took you. I think when it first started, now it's just, oh mate, it's coming good now, isn't it?
Oh yeah, when we first started,
well,
I mean, they were decent. We lost our first three, but it was brand new team coming to jail, and then I kind of took a step back and thought, got to add where we needed to add, and then just work with the rest, and we've done that, and I think we won our next three. I think we've lost 4-1-6, I think it is. So we're in a better place. And obviously COVID came and kind of took us a bit, but when we go back, we'll be back to working hard again. So have to wait and see.
So how much more of the season have you got left? Have you got a lot? Have you got 20 odd games?
Yeah, I know we've got more games than the first team because we got more teams in our league. So we've only played.
What do you both think about this situation? Do you think it's going to ever go back to? Do you think we're going to complete this season?
That's a tough one, isn't it? Yes.
Do you know what? You don't know how it's going to go because, like, it sounds like they're talking about another lockdown across the country next month. Then say they do that for 4 weeks, then football's not going to be back until February at the earliest. And then I'm assuming most teams are going to want 2-3 weeks to get any sort of fitness. So then you're kind of looking at how are they going to finish the season that quickly? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. They've got to fit. They're going to have to fit in. Like everyone's going to have to play Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. If that as a minimum.
Double headers.
Training, yes. Love it.
Yes. Once you get the wrong side of 30, you don't need training.
Yeah, 100%. Exactly. It's all in your head now. Over your head. I can't see it. I don't want to, ruin everything for everyone, but I don't think it's going to finish. I think they're going to.
I'm with you.
I just don't think there's any way they can. I just don't think there's any way that they can do it. And I just think that they need to. And I also think they need to stop it at that. They say like the elite level. I think they've just got to just stop it, and that's it. Just stop football altogether again. And that's going to. I know, Piers, I watched your show last night about your mental health with Jamie and Justin, and I know it's going to affect a lot of people's mental health. But people are dying. It's come on. They've got to prioritise. They've got. I think they've got to go from top to bottom and say, right, these are the rules. Stick to them. See how we get on. Football take a back seat. They just seem to be trying to please. Like football's played a massive part in people. In this pandemic, I think about what the lockdowns and when they can and when they can't. It's like, oh no, you can't do it then because it's football season, and you can't do it. Liverpool got Man United. You can't do it on Tuesday because Liverpool playing Man United. Or do it Wednesday. It's like
I think that's the thing as well, isn't it? Because it's like everyone has a different view on the response and everything else, but at the end of the day, if you're sort of allowing certain things to go ahead and then shutting down other things, then people are always going to question, and people are always going to kind of think, should we
all the conspiracies? That's when all the conspiracies start.
Exactly. If there's more transparent, then it makes things a lot easier, and people would be a lot happier with it. But unfortunately, they're not that transparent, and I think that's what's causing more issues than anything else.
Yeah.
No, I agree totally.
And gents, thank you very much for that. Again, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you both. And again,
Happy New Year.
You too, man.
Never know. You might see Gary at the Smiths by the looks of it. Magic.
That's fun.
Done deal.
Keys is
Signed off.
next. Keys is next.
Oh, hold up.
I'll tell you what, Keys, me and you could do a bit in centre midfield, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Carlos in the 10.
doubt it. Carlos in the 10. Not wrong.
There we go. There we go. But again, gents, thank you very much for joining us, and hope to see you guys all soon.
Thanks.
No worries,
Yeah,
guys. Take care.
thanks for having us on.
Good evening.
Cheers.
Nice
Thank you.
one.
There we go, man. Gary and Kiers there. And listen, guys,
I'm flying.
time is flying, and the fun does not stop because we've got our next set of guests in already. Get the subs board out.
Oh.
Hello.
Hi.
There we go. Substitutions.
That's it. They're on. They're on.
Ladies,
Hello.
how we doing?
Good,
Hello.
thank you. How are you?
Good Christmas,
You
good
got-
New Year. Oh, not even New Year yet. Good Christmas, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you both
Much,
wearing your
don't
referee
too much,
tops?
so definitely a good Christmas.
I think so. I think Emma's in hers as well.
That is
Oh, I love it.
amazing.
Repping the kit.
That is unbelievable.
Representative.
I love,
I like that.
I love that. That is brilliant. How are you both?
Coping, I think is the answer.
Yeah. I think that's the right word, coping.
Yeah.
Trying to keep everyone's spirits up, just trying to keep out there while everything's going on. You know, because it's not just the players that are suffering, it's the officials as well at the moment.
Yeah. Cool.
So, but yeah, we're all just trying to stick together, work together, cracking up most of the day. It's, you know, decisions and bits and bobs. So no, it's been good. It's been all right.
Are either of you doing anything work-wise, like refereeing-wise?
No, I mean, I think this is the first year in forever where I actually haven't had a game on Boxing Day, which has been really strange.
Yeah, it's been strange, really strange. But yeah, there's nothing at the moment at all.
No.
I was going to say, how much are you missing it, not being involved in the game? Because we also hear about the players, but from an official's point of view, how much are you missing it? Are you missing the being out there? Are you missing like maybe some of the abuse, or is it just happy days?
What abuse? Nobody abuses referees.
No one abuses referees. No, of course not.
I mean, yeah, I'd say I'm missing it. I'm missing it a lot. I just miss getting out there, you know. It's like I've been involved in football since I was born, as long as I can remember. So it's really weird to have weekends that go by and not be playing or refereeing or watching at the moment as well in person. So it's like a football-shaped hole in my heart at the moment. That's been going on for a very long time, and I want it back as soon as possible.
Yeah, I completely agree. You know, for me, I've got 2 young children at home as well. Like my son's 3, my daughter's 6. So for me, those 90 minutes are 90 minutes where I think I get to forget about everything else and just concentrate on the one thing that I do love, and that's the game. So, you know, it's at the moment it is difficult, you know, that we can't be out there with views. And, you know, and you mentioned about abuse. I don't know about you, Amy, but I feel like since we've had the pandemic and then we went back, I feel like everyone's just appreciates the fact that they actually have a referee.
Yeah,
And the banter is just unreal at the moment. We just spend 90 minutes cracking up with the players, you know, even on big games, you know, even on all the FA Cup prelims we did, FA Bars, FA Trophy proper, but we've been out. You know, everyone's just so pleased to have been out there, and then obviously it's all been taken away from us again. So we'll have to see what happens.
So how did you both get into refereeing? Did you play before you went into refereeing, or was it straight into refereeing?
I mean, Emma, you go first. You've probably been around football longer.
For me, I've loved the game since I was a kid. Like, I used to read the paper back to front, used to collect all the stickers in the books, you know, popping shinies and all this bit. But the one thing I could not do is I could not physically kick a ball. I was terrible. I just could not do it. And then I sort of didn't really know what to do with myself. And then I got to about just sort of my early 20s, and I was a single Pringle ready to mingle. And I thought to myself, you know, might be a good time to get back into the game. I had plenty of time on my hands. So I just come up with going on a refs course. And then it also started as a bit of a bet after watching Match of the Day and about decisions, and with a friend of mine. And it was like, well, if you think you can do better, why don't you? So then I did. And that was 10 seasons ago. And here I am, still here.
10 seasons. You've got your testimonial coming up.
you go.
I feel like I should, you know. We have recently had a game where we've had us refs. We went and played a local charity game. So we had 11 refs who played against SANs, and it was great. Like, it's our second game against them. It was really good. So a few of us can play. I was the gaffer. I need some tips, Bill. I'm
probably the wrong person, to be honest.
But yeah, I think it's really weird because there's times when people are like, "Why'd you do it?" And it's just when you're out and you haven't got a game and you hear a whistle, it's like a calling. It's really weird. It's the weirdest thing.
Well, you must have that same camaraderie between the refs and all the officials, and you're still going into the changing room, aren't you? You're still going into the pitch. It's probably the same match day process as the players and the managers. So it's the same. It's got to be that same euphoria for you as well.
Yeah, it's like, especially when you get to one of the big games, like when you're out on the FA Cup qualifiers. You know, the buzz of the place is just unreal when you're there. You're in front of 400 or 500 people normally. Pre-COVID, and sometimes you may even be out there in front of 1,000, 1,200 people. It's just unreal. Like the feeling, it's just it does put a lump in your throat. But we go out there to do a job, and we go out there, and our main thing is to stop World War III from breaking out for 90 minutes. And I think we do a pretty good job of that.
How about you, Amy? How did you get into it?
Well, I've sort of had my earliest memories of being a kid was at different football grounds across the country because my dad played at a fairly high level of grassroots football. He spent a number of years rolling the Essex circuit. I think he played for the majority of teams that are floating around Canvey Island, Bowers, Basildon United. He's played for all of them. And name drop.
What's his name?
My dad is Wayne Purser, given the last name. The amount of times I rock up at a ground, I'm like, "You're not Wayne's daughter, are you?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." But yeah, so and then when I was born, he'd already sort of early retired at that point, and he then went on to be club secretary at Cambridge United. So it was sort of like a family affair, If my mum worked full time, so it was in the school holidays, I would go to the clubs with him, sit in his office, run around the grounds, causing absolute carnage. So that's my earliest memories. And then playing, obviously, I could probably kick a ball as soon as I could walk, I think. One of my earliest Christmas presents was a goal and a football in the garden. And then it got to a stage where I was playing, I sort of made the step into women's football. And I had quite a run of some nasty injuries, sort of like dislocations and torn ligaments and stuff in my ankles. And I sort of decided, I can't be doing this every other game. I'm getting back fit, going into a game and then tearing a ligament in my other ankle. So I was like, I need to get out of this, but I still want to be involved in football. And that's when my dad sort of said to me, "Do you know what? Why don't you go on a refs course?" He went, "You need the money." I was 16, working a part-time job on minimum wage, trying to balance my schoolwork and football and everything else. And it just made sense. He was like, the game inside out. It just makes sense for you to do it. And I've never looked back since. It's my 5th season now, and flying.
There we go. Got a question in here from Richard for the both of you. So, do you both feel the standard of refereeing is at the level it needs to be at lower levels? Good question, Richard.
I think it varies. There are some really excellent referees out there. I'm in, but I'd split my season. Half of it's in Birmingham or at uni, and half of it is down here in Essex. And there are some fantastic referees and assistants that I've been out with. But then at the same time, you do have the older guys at like Sundays. Yeah, talking about Emma, of course. Then you go to a Sunday where you do have, and the kids levels, and you do have, the older guys that have been doing it for donkey's years, 50, 60 years. And it's, you hold your hands up the fact they can still get out there and do it. But the game does move on. And I think that's the problem. I think a lot of, when I've spoken to teams, they're like, it's just, they signed up with the younger guys, whilst they might disagree with the odd decision or not. With the older guys, it seems to be a more reoccurring problem that, maybe they're a little bit more outdated, or they're not kept up with the laws, or they have this very own set method of don't talk to me, respect me. Whereas I don't know if I talk for both of us, Emma, but I'm quite a easygoing ref. I'm like, if you come and talk to me, I'll explain something to you, just don't shout at me. I will happily engage with players and talk to them because it helps with this building rapport and the respect. But I think, that's a generational thing. I think we'll see it die out slowly, I hope.
There's nothing worse than a ref that doesn't talk.
I completely agree. there is a few dinosaurs out there, unfortunately, that may not always move with the times, and we do our best to try and, you know, sometimes there is a bit of inconsistency, but obviously we all attend our local referee society. We keep, you know, in touch with the games and the laws when they change. You know, we try and do what we can, but unfortunately there's not enough refs to go around, so teams can't be choosy. You know, there's in Essex, I believe there's 1,700 referees that are registered, but on a Sunday morning there's 3,500 games that take place. So unfortunately we can't split ourselves in half. If we could, we would, but we can't. So as much as people may moan about refs, I think half the time they just need to be thankful that they've got one. And if they really think that they could do a better job than that ref, maybe they should go on the course themselves and then just realise just how difficult it is. Because we get a lot of, you know, local players that moan about refs and all the rest of it. And I just, you know, after time, I just think to myself, why don't you just go on the course and you come out here and you see how hard it is to stop 22 guys or ladies from killing each other on a freezing cold Sunday morning when it is pouring of rain, you know, and the ball's only just about moving around the park. So, you know, we try our best. There probably is inconsistencies. I'm not going to try and cover it over, but, you know, like Amy says, it is definitely dying out. Teams and referees are all moving with the times, and you know, I do feel like in Essex there is a good buzz at the moment with referees. You know, we always talk to each other. If there's an incident in a game, it's always on a WhatsApp somewhere, and it's great. You know, you can pick up the phone and talk to any other referee in Essex. And
have you deal that fucking manager? I hate him and all that. I've got him tomorrow.
No comment.
Now listen, when I've done a YTS scheme at Arsenal years ago, and part of that was you had to do your referees course, and you had to go out and actually ref games for 6 weeks. And my goodness, I crumbled. I was like a nervous wreck. As soon as someone would said you got to hold your emotions in, so without having a fight every week. Like you got people calling you like yeah. No, I won't use the words, but they call you some outrageous words, and you've got to accept it. It's like, oh, you fuck off, ref. You're just a ref. Fuck off. It's like, well, hold on a minute. No, actually, and I'm probably the worst person in the world to preach it, because there's some refs out there are gonna probably look at this going, Covey, come on. Another question there, and it was.
No, it's just a comment from Richard saying that's a perfect explanation. It would be nice to have some more younger refs. I think it's the protection that stops the young people going into it. My respect to all of you guys. Without you, we don't play. And it's a good point as it goes. Just the last final point. Like, do you feel like there needs to be more younger refs coming into the game, or are they getting deterred from coming into the game because they're seeing, you know, some of the abuse on the sideline, so to speak?
What do you think? So when you go to a game and you see players out there, managers, and do you find there's a difference if you have a male referee and male team, or if you have a female referee and male teams? Do you think there's a difference?
I think, in fact, that's a good point. I think there is a slight difference, and it's not the obvious one. I think if there was a female refereeing a men's game, I think they would actually respect her more, because again, it's almost like you're respecting your partner, your mum, your sister, as opposed to that guy down the car. Oh, he's a effing da 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 da. Do you know what I mean? So maybe it's that case. Maybe it should be opposites. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Me and Amy recently spoke about this actually, because we are both male football referees. We don't do a lot of female football. We've stayed on the men's path when it comes to promotion and stuff like that. And then one of the main reasons for that is when we go out on a men's game, we don't really get abused compared to if we go out on a female game. So for us, it's like opposites do actually attract. So, you know, you seem to behave better. Obviously, that comes with experience as well. Whereas if you end up with a male referee with two male teams, you'll probably notice that they'll get abused. But if next week, if they played each other and they had a female referee, it would be a completely different game. And this is something that we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say on that point as well, it's also, you notice that when you do go out as a female referee and you put in a good performance, it's more noticeable if you are a woman compared to if you're a bloke refereeing a men's game of football. You know, I did my first, it was only a friendly, but you know, it's the highest level I've refereed at. I had a team from the Isthmian Prem and the top team in the Isthmian Div 1 or something like that. And I turned up there, and obviously the only women in the ground, they all look at me, and you're in your rest tracksuit and looking smart. It's like you can see it in their faces. It's like, oh my God, we've got a woman. We've got a woman refereeing us.
They've never seen a woman before.
I know, and they're shocked. They're absolutely shocked, and it's like the standards, the bar is so low. I think when we go out onto that pitch, it's like you put a flag up for an offside decision. They're like, "Oh, smashing decision line!" And I'm like, "It was obvious. It was like a mile off."
Yeah,
and I do wonder because I'm lucky. I'm not even 21 yet. I'm 21 in a couple of months, and I'm already going for my level 4. So I've flown up the ranks. For someone so young, and it's. People do say like, oh, you do think like, I hope it's because I am a good enough referee, but at the same time, you do think there might be a little bit in there. The fact you just put in a good performance as a woman, whereas if you're a bloke, they think, well, it was all right, but they got this, and this wrong. Whereas if you're a woman, it's it was smashing. They got this right. They got this right. They got this right. Just because they're not expecting it. So it works in both ways. But if you do get to where you want to be there on merit, not because you're filling a quota.
No. One of the things that did worry us was when Stephanie Frappart took the 2009 Super Cup between Man City and Liverpool last year. First female ever to do that. And there was a big worry, a lot of tension, because we was terrified that if she went out there and made an absolute howler decision or something like that, that it would put us back 5-10 years, oh my God, women, you can't go out there, you can't ref games, look what happened to Stephanie, blah, blah, blah. But she actually went out there and had an absolute cracker. And, I feel like since then, there's been such a big buzz around female referees. For example, when I first qualified in Essex, there was 5. So in 2010, there was 5 female referees. And at the moment, there's 78. So, and those numbers have majorly increased over the last 4 years at a push. So I do feel like that is like a major thing now, with us women, we are starting to come through the ranks a lot more. And, we'll be the first to admit we go out there. Sometimes we make mistakes. We're not perfect, but it's great to see that a lot more of us are coming through. We've had really funny games, terrible games, but it's part and parcel of the job. But we wouldn't have it any other way.
What's your funniest moment, quickly?
So my funniest moment would be when I first qualified. As I said, I was single, and I gave a penalty, and the striker said to me, "If I put this in the back of the net, will you come for a drink with me?" And I just looked at him and I just said, "I really hope you miss." Lucky enough, the keeper pulled off an absolute cracking save. I gave the corner and run off, but I was cracking it.
Celebrate, running off like that.
And that player just absolutely destroyed by all the other players for the rest of the game. I think
it's brilliant.
Lucky enough, I just couldn't even look at him in the face. So for me, that was my funniest moment by mum.
Well, at least you can trump that, Aim. Can you trump that?
I think mine's probably got to be in one of my first seasons in open age, like men's football. And obviously you're just learning the ropes and you're making a step up from kids football. And because I turned 16, went straight into men's football. I only did sort of a season and a half in youth football. So positioning was a little bit all over the place for me. And I remember just being too close to play and getting an absolute rocket thumped into the side of my head, and it knocked me out. It knocked me clean out. And I was like, everyone comes running over, like, "Oh my God, ref, you all right?" And I'm sort of sat there grumpy and dazed, like, I have no idea what just happened. And then obviously just had to abandon the game. I was like, I can't continue with this. And laid up in bed with a suspected concussion for a couple of weeks.
You had to abandon the game.
Not great.
You have to abandon the game.
Yeah, because when it was at a level low enough where I was the only one there, so they couldn't get anyone out at short notice. But yeah, that wasn't a defining moment, but it's lesson learned not to get too close to play, I think.
Thank you, ladies, for coming on.
Thank you.
It's been great.
Thank you for coming on as well. And again, have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to both of you.
Yeah, you too. Hopefully we'll
and you guys. Yeah, fingers crossed.
Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, ladies. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye. I love that a lot.
We've got our snippet right there.
Yeah, trust me, I was already thinking about it. I'll definitely put that out online. Oh, right. Listen, hope you guys have been enjoying it so far. We've still got more guests to come. In fact, we've got our next guest right here. Now, I just want to ask, first of all, is it Sean or Sian?
It's Sean.
Sean, okay. I didn't want to butcher it and be like, Why is it getting my name wrong? Because I get it all the time. People call me so many different names. It's unreal. So cool.
No, it's better that you ask. Thank you. I appreciate it.
But how are you? How are you? How was your Christmas?
I'm good. My Christmas was good. Nothing really changed. Me, my mum, my dad, and my sister. Really small family. So no issues really. It's the same as every other Christmas. So it's been really good. I've been really grateful, to be honest.
Good, good. Glad to hear it.
I'm
And
surprised
yours?
you've still got your AirPods. You've got both still.
No, I've got them. I've managed to save them since June.
Mate, I've followed that AirPod story since June.
Hold on. Fill me in. What's going on?
Mate, it was like the best and worst surprise ever. It was like she's like, I hope he's got them. I hope he's got them.
It was AirPods that I bought. That were wrapped basically for myself for my birthday, but my dad was telling me that he's refusing to give them to me, but they were mine. It didn't make sense, and I bought them. Yeah, it was just ridiculous. I was tweeting about every stage of the story basically, to the point where people asked me, "So what happened to the AirPods in the end?" Or "So you got the AirPods then?" So yeah, there was an infamous story on Twitter.
Oh,
so how you doing? How's things at Millwall? Am I allowed to ask you that?
Yeah, you are allowed to ask. Yeah, you're allowed to ask.
How's things at Millwall?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Obviously, this season is very different to last season. We've had a lot of changes in regards to management, staff, players. So it's been a lot of adapting. But overall, my experience has been good for the last 2 years. Good.
Yeah. I've been over. I think I've seen 4, maybe 5 games.
Yeah, this is news to me. I didn't know you'd been to so many games, Bill. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't see me, to be fair. I'll take up like one side of the stand.
Do you know what? I'm very sometimes I can be very match focused. So I've just got tunnel vision. Don't know what's going on.
No, I've probably been to 4 or 5, and it's really good, to be fair. It's like
How you found it?
It's good. It's good. It's a nice family one. It's got a nice family feel there.
Yeah.
A few up and down performances.
Yeah.
But it's obviously going to take time for Katie and Alex to sort out. They're both going to have new ideas to bring to the team. It's a whole new squad.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're lucky that Abby's scoring and scored as many as she has got, because
Abby's class. Abby's class.
She's done all right for you. Shannon's quality. Millie, you got some really good players. Libby.
Yeah.
Really good players yourself. Have we got Sean's goal? Have we got Sean's goal?
Sean's goal? Sean doesn't score.
I think take a look. Hold on. Here we go.
Yeah.
Hey.
Is that you?
Wait, hold on. There's a story behind this goal, by the way. It's not what it looks like. There's a story behind this goal.
All right, cool.
What?
Yeah, there's a story behind it. As you know, Bill, because you would have come to the games, I'm a left back.
Yeah.
I'm a left back. That was in pre-season. Well, basically, what happened was in pre-season last year when I was trialing, that game was a trial game, and Nick was in charge, and Nick put me up top as a striker. I was absolutely bricking it. I'm thinking I haven't played up front since I was about 13 or something. Don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to think as a coach, thinking, maybe I should sit in between the gaps, and I'm trying to.
Yes,
I'm
you
trying
should.
to think.
Yes,
yeah, I'm thinking. I'm trying to think as a coach and trying to help myself out. And I was also on trial at Fulham. So just before that, I did 90 minutes for Fulham, and then came and played that game.
Wow.
Anyway,
Jeez.
I scored a hat-trick that day, but my legs were absolutely finished. That goal that you can see, I had cramp the whole time. If you
good finish at the end as well.
After the clip, if you listen carefully, you hear me say, "Get me off." I'd had enough.
Kiers just got Sean with a finesse. Kiers just commented.
My weak foot as well, so it weren't bad, but I was knackered.
Oh.
So what's been happening with your men's football as well? I know you're coaching the men's game, and there was a bit. I'm not sure where this. I know you want to get something off your chest.
There's a lot I want to get off my
related,
chest.
Or I don't know if
Sean, tell us. Come on, let it all out.
I'll start with a question. In terms of the men, I was coaching at Tooting Beck.
Brian,
with
Brian, you've met Brian, haven't you? Yeah. So Brian got appointed as first team manager, and then brought myself, Craig Pitsy, if you know him, O'Neill, and Nathan Headley. Now, that was an absolutely priceless experience, like coaching men. Brian brought us all along, so it's a big coaching team for non-league, but we had very specific roles, so there were never any blurred messages, players getting told too much. It was like me and Nathan might work with the defense. Pitsy would, obviously he's head coach, so he's delivering most of the sessions, the bulk of it. Brian and O'Neill do the management side, so it was great working with that bunch of coaches. Was absolutely amazing. Pitsy, I learned so much. Nathan's a childhood friend of mine. We grew up together. I've known him since he was about 4. Brian, my best friend. O'Neill, guy got a heart full of gold. So it was literally like, it was lovely working with them, and I was always like a little sister. I was very like protected. So yeah, it was great. But then obviously we got not sacked, but we got let go. We got let go. There's probably only so much I should really say about that situation, but
say what you want.
Say, you know what I'm saying? You can't come on in.
These lot know me anyway. I've got no filter, but these, I think what the truth of the matter is that what the club wanted to do was very different to what we wanted to do, and then in the end, it's just clashing. There's a lot of there was a lot of background issues in regards to us agreeing on stuff. It was a heartbreak because the results were going well. We finished 5th when we were together. Finished 5th. Top 4 get promoted, so we're looking to get promotion. We had the most points at that time in the season the club's ever seen. So it didn't really make sense as to where the decision was coming from. But if you want my opinion, I think it was because a lot of the old players left. And we had to bring other players in, and that club is a very family friendly kind of club. So if you're going to get their friends out, they're not going to be happy. But in our opinion, I'm here for results. We're in the 3 points game. We're here to win. So you need to do what you need to do. We didn't change up the squad completely. 100%. We didn't like wipe everyone out. But yeah, we got through of a few friends, let's say, and I don't think it went down too well.
So you're trying to basically. Seems like it sounds to me like it was an old boys club. You got rid of some of the old boys, brought in some new fresh blood, was doing well, because again, you can't be saying that you were sacked because you was near enough relegated, the relegation form, and then you got sacked because of that, or released or let go because of that. Is that
right? Basically, in a nutshell, if I was to go into the other stuff, my phone's going to be ringing till midnight and I ain't got time for that. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell, basically.
Have you had any talks with any other clubs, and you're going to keep the management team together?
Ideally, yeah, but I was the one that got brought in, if that makes sense. So I'm not.
Yeah, but you was brought in for a reason.
Yeah,
must be good.
Me and Brian work well together. We work well together. He knows that long term, in terms of a coach, I want to go into youth boys or men. As much as I'm managing, I'm head of academy at a girls' side now, but that's my project for now until I want to go into youth and men. So I think he knew I wanted to do that. He trusts me that I can do it. But I know that I've got a long way to go before I could go and do it on my own. So I'm happy to support Brian in his journey, and we just kind of do it together. Yeah,
no, it's good. It's good that you've got that sort of the men's and the women's. You've got it sort of down now, haven't you? Because you get your education in the the men's game, create a name for yourself as a player in the ladies' game, and then you've got best of both worlds, don't you? You can pick and choose if you wanted to. Once you stop playing, you can either manage in the ladies' game, manage in the men's game.
I don't think I manage ladies. I don't think I'd manage ladies. I'll be honest, but
no,
I've done girls. This will be my 3rd year now. Heading up girls' academies. It's very different. Coaching girls is not like coaching boys. It's not the same. I tell you that for free.
What way?
Loads of ways. There's pros and cons. There's the heavy emotional side. I've got players are needy anyway. Yeah, players in general are needy. Boys or girls, they always want to ask you, how can I improve? How can I get better? What did I do here? What did I do there? What's my first touch like? They want to ask you questions all the time. That's fine. That's not a problem because you need to learn. But
I think with girls, they're a lot more emotional based in regards to their decision making, on and off the pitch. Very emotional. It's very difficult for girls to have off the pitch issues and not bring them on the pitch. Girls can't. They find that very hard. Yeah, so that's a big con for me. Me personally, I play football to forget, to not bring this off, to not whatever's going on off the pitch, I want it on the pitch, and I can leave my monkeys at the door. But I'm 27. When you're 17 and you're managing those emotions, it's a whole different world.
You know what? I've never ever thought about that. I've always said like, and because I've never been a manager in the ladies. I've always said, oh yeah, it's really good. I really like to do it and all that. But that's probably because I'm on the outside looking in. So I'm like, I see all the fluffy nice stuff. I don't see all that shit. And you're probably right. You know, when two girls don't like each other, they don't fucking like each other. That's it. They ain't doing nothing. I think the men can. You know, you had Andy Cole and Teddy Sheringham as an example. They hated each other. They didn't even talk to each other, but they won the treble. You know, it's but women. I don't see. Yeah, fuck that. I don't want to get involved with women's football anymore.
Hold on. We've had 2 shows where he's pretty much starting for talent, and then Sean,
I've put him off. You know what it is? Don't get me wrong. I can see what Bill's saying, because girls at the same time, they're very coachable. They're very coachable, and when they do absorb your information, that feeling is absolutely priceless. When you've taken a girl from here to there, and because they are emotional, they're very grateful. They're the kind of players that will really show you what you've done. Like, I really thank you, and they're extremely grateful because everything's come from their emotions. But I've also had girls literally look me in my face and say to me, I don't want to pass her in a ball because she pissed me off yesterday. And I think, what?
Wow.
And I think it's absolutely crazy. It's madness to me. And same as you get the women's football. And the thing is that, like, and this is probably another thing that's completely off subject. We've had to talk about that another time. But we see with men's, when you get under 18s, you get under 21s, you get under 23s, you get reserves, you get first team. You're 16 as a woman, you go straight to first team most of the time, because not every club has got the provisions to create an under 23s or an under 21s. So loads of females go, as soon as you turn 16, you leave your under 16s team, you go straight into women's football. Having to manage a 17-year-old's emotions and a 37-year-old's emotions is 2 different ball games. This 17-year-old has just come out of school. She's learning how to manage. She's got women pinching her and putting their fingers in their bum and that. All these mad things, you know what I mean, that happen to you. And you've got a 37-year-old woman who's probably had 2 kids and thinks, oh, shut up and get up, you mug. Do you know what I mean? Shut up and get up. I've been getting kicked for 20 years, mate. Get up. Do you know what I mean?
This is what I noticed with Millwall. Because the games you've lost have come against teams that are more mature than you. So you got that
women versus girls, doesn't it?
Exactly. Hutton, they sort of bullied you off the pitch.
Yeah,
the team that you played in the cup that beat you like 8 something. They was like women, and
Bill,
you
don't
was like,
do that to me. Don't do that to me.
They like battered you.
Wow, Bill, you know she's a guest on the show, you know.
No, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Yeah. You can tell. Yeah. You've got a lot of young girls in your team. You've got the goalkeeper, fantastic goalkeeper. I think she's 16. You've got girls in the middle of the park, 16. You've got young Kira, she's 16, 17. I think. You know, and when you find it in men's football, it's no different. Men's football, they come up against men and they come up against women. They're going to come off second best unless they're exceptional. Now
the thing is that if you imagine what I'm saying now, which is like the off the pitch stuff that's going on and tends to be with the youngsters. I haven't got time for that. I'm too old. But they'll get into their little nonsense. Katie and Alex might have to manage that. And manage delivery at training, and then manage all of that on match day. It's very difficult to do all of that because women are not. Men are. I find men often ball, and that's all they care about. Pretty much.
They just indirect you on Twitter. That's it.
Sounds like non-league Twitter. Sounds just like non-league Twitter. So they're having to manage all of that, and I think that if I'm being honest, last year there wasn't that much stuff to manage, and the management style was very different. The way Colin managed is very different to Katie and Alex. So, and how Nick was as well while he was there. So it was very, it's all been a lot of change, and I think they just need a little bit of like settling time almost. I think that's what the girls need, and the physicality, a big wake up call. It's a massive wake up call. I know I don't really get scared nowadays, now that I'm getting old. But when I was 17, I was up against a 31-year-old who was calling me a donkey. I was shook. I was shook. Now, not so much.
But that's the things that obviously Kate and Alex, they've got to learn they've got to manage that. You know, and I know that you've set up a whole new formation this season, haven't you? You're playing a whole new formation that
and in all fairness,
that's another thing. That's another thing that you've got to try and deal with.
But that formation got changed. That formation got changed because last year we went unbeaten. 4-3-3. Didn't change the formation, but Colin's coaching style was very like boot camp. So it was like rehearsals, passing patterns. This is exactly how it looks on match day. It was very like, Sean, you pass here or you pass there, or you're gonna wind me up. That's what it was like. It was just very to point instruction based kind of coaching. This time now, Katie gave us the freedom. Okay, this is she didn't want to shape too much things. I'm gonna let you lot play the formation that you normally play, playing, and we got battered. We got absolutely battered. So, in all fairness to her, that Ricky game, we went. Let's say it was something like 7-0 at half time. I don't even remember. I lost count. But then at half time now, we changed it to 3-5-2, and we might have conceded 1 or 2 in that second half or something. So it's like, okay, I can definitely see why she's changed the formation. Then Alex suggests another formation, which, in all fairness, against Stevenage also worked. And I just think it's about the players adapting to the formation. But to be honest with you, you could play any formation that you like. You could play 1-9-1 if the girls are not physical enough or brave enough to go into 1v1s with older women. It doesn't matter what formation you play, it's probably not going to work. That's the part that we need to kind of nail down, is the bravery and the physicality, because a lot of the girls have had to step up, and I just think it will take time. That's it. It can happen. It will just take time.
Sean, I just want to go quickly back to your Tooting Beck experience. Is there anything you and the boys might have done differently looking back at it? I know hindsight's a wonderful thing and all the rest of it, but is there anything that you would do differently, or you've taken away from that experience to then to the next experience?
I think the biggest learn, and I hope I don't mess this up for the group, but I think the biggest learn that we took after that, because we had a big reflection as a group, and I think the biggest thing was that we won't compromise our morals, basically. And I think we spent too much time compromising things that we knew were the right thing to do, to try and people please. And I think that sometimes you just need to back yourself in your decisions. Otherwise, I think we can walk away with our head held high. I get messages now from players talking about their experience and how good it was, and we all know the things that have improved, and I feel like we've left a footprint to those players, and I'm happy for that. So I think overall we can walk away with our head held high, but lesson, just it's not worth compromising on your morals because you get sacked anyway.
Exactly that.
So it's not worth it, basically.
So what sort of experience are you looking for now? Are you looking for like a new experience, so a club that's relatively new, or some coming into something that's already established? Because by the sounds of it, Tooting Beck had their people that are kind of stuck in their ways, for want of a better word, whereas it might be good to come into a newish sort of club where you can definitely say, look, this is our philosophy, this is how we do things. It might be brand new to, say for example, it's a brand new team, but it could be yours, it's your baby, so to speak.
Yeah, well, I mean, now that we're not at Tooting, I kind of just focus on my full-time job, which is head of the post-16 girls at Sitton United. So I kind of just go back to my project until something comes up. But like I'm saying, it's not that side of stuff wasn't my journey, it was Brian's, and I was here to support Brian. It was more to do with what he wanted to do. So I'm not actively looking for anything. Brian you know, maybe looking or in talks or whatever Brian's doing, but I'm just ready for when Brian tells me, Sean, I need support.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, just in case, you know, Covey might have a club available. I might have a club, you know, started.
Well, you got to phone Brian.
Yeah, listen, Brian, me and Brian have already spoken. We're going to get Brian on shortly anyway, so don't worry about that. But I'm just knowing that you guys come together as a package. It's cool.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, it's Brian's package. So it's whatever he wants to do.
All right, calm down. Talking about Brian's package all the time.
It's his journey. What I don't want is, I don't want Brian to not select me, and then he feels like he's obliged to do that now. He's not. So I'm just here to support, whether it's on the phone, but whatever it may be, I'm just supporting him until such time. I need to complete my level 2 first. I need to get that out of the way before I start looking anywhere. Yeah. So I've got lot. Do you
want to shout any of your ladies out before you go?
Oh, I mean, if I start naming them all a lot, I'll be here all day. So I think as a collective, I've got to shout out all of the girls. I can't miss out Libby though. I can't miss out my partner in crime, Libby. Katie and Alex have been an absolute dream. Otherwise, I think in regards to shouting anyone out or thanking anyone, I've had massive support from the 2 in Beck management staff, Pitts, O'Neill, Nathan, Anthony Ferguson, Chris Lott, Andre Thomas, like the last lot, the Lambeth lot. Like I've had abundance of support, so I think it's been a great.
It's like the BAFTAs. Look at her, look.
I know, it's like, oh guys, thank you so much. Yeah, it's great. Oh, I can't even forget Sitton as well, because Sitton have given me a really good opportunity, so I can't take it away from them. Yeah, they've done well. Yeah, George, Marvin, Mark, Rick. Yeah, they're all great.
Okay. Now, you know what, Sean? Thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Sean. Really
Next time we'll go a little bit deeper, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we've got another show again, haven't we? We've got Sunday night, Sean's room. Fun.
Meet me there.
Thank you. And again, hope you had a Merry Christmas. Hope you enjoy your New Year as well. Hopefully 2021 brings a lot more joy to everyone, especially you as well, Sean. So
you too. Have a good New Year.
Thanks, Sean.
Take care.
Right, see you later.
Bye. Oh wow.
Has George tried coming on or not?
George tried coming on, and then I think we had Emma and Amy on at the time. So I think he popped back up. So George, if you're listening, come back in. We're now going officially into extra time.
Hold on. How long left?
Well, it depends on how long it takes George to get here. By the looks of it, Newcastle's still losing, so don't worry about me. I'm not going anywhere. I'm more worried about EastEnders than anything else. But George, if you're listening, get yourself inside here, man.
Sheffield United. How's Sheffield United getting on?
Who?
Sheffield United. I backed Sheffield United tonight because I thought.
That's the reason why. Just want to shout out everyone listening in. David Morgan said, shout out to you as well. Hi everyone, I'm here now. Merry Christmas to you, Clinton and Billy from Twitter. Shout out to everyone else listening as well. Shout out to Broads as well, Broads TV, Big Up Roots and the rest. And I hope you've been enjoying the show so far. We've had some amazing guests, some really good stories as well. I think we might even have some more shows off the back of this one as well. So yeah, really appreciate it.
There is scope. Obviously, the John Sitton, that's going to be a show in itself.
Yeah.
And then
I think we can scratch the surface, John, to be fair.
These shows are good because you've like Sian there. She was talking she could have gone on for another half an hour, I think, and easily, and it would have been great to find out.
I found the referees very interesting, Emma and Amy. Even from their point of view, especially the last point about females refereeing the men's game. I didn't think about it until actually that moment when she put it on us, and I was thinking, actually, I have seen it before, and you do hear less abuse or less people getting out of line. Let's put it that way. Less people getting out of line when there's a female referee. Because I go to a lot of men's games. I can't say I've been to too many female games. I haven't seen men referees, especially at those games as well, but it did actually make sense. So, yeah, I agree with that one for sure. I think Jay's got a question for you, mate. He said, now we can ask Covey the biggest question at the moment. Do Yorkshire puddings belong on a Christmas dinner?
Of course.
There we go, Jay. I mean, look, of course, mate. What are you on about, mate? What are you on about? David Morgan saying, anyone want a chocolate eclair? I've got loads spare. Cheers, Dave.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
Cheers, mate. Just the George. We're waiting for George, aren't we?
Yeah, I've just sent him a text as well to see if he.
George, we are waiting for you, sir. Otherwise,
I told him 9 o'clock. I told him 9. That was why.
Okay, there we go. Oh, I mean, we had so many guests. Again, just to recap who we've had on so far, we've had John Sitton on, amazing guest there. We had Gary and Kiz. Then we
George
had,
just said he's waiting backstage.
He's not here so far. He was here before, but he'll get back in, I'm sure. So yeah, we had Kiz and Gary. Then we had Emma and Amy, and then we just had Sean as well. Have I missed anyone?
No.
No? Okay, cool. Just recapping the guests that we've had so far. So again, if you're watching this back, make sure you drop us all a like, subscribe, and all that nice sort of jazzy stuff that you talk about on YouTube. Jake Murphy saying maybe do a show on New Year's Eve and see in 2021. Oh gosh, Jake, are you trying to make more work than us or what, mate? Jesus.
We can't all be like Jake and put fucking new signing videos up every 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, Mr. Don Motor. Okay, okay. All right. Talking about his expressions and all
videos and new Lazio signings and fucking hell.
Oh, there we go. Oh, here we go. So our final guest has arrived back in the building.
It's me.
Yes.
I've been here all night.
Sorry, Missy.
Sorry to keep you waiting. We
overran. We've got into extra time for you. Don't worry.
That's all right. It's I'm not the greatest on laptops. First of all, I need to ask: can I call you Bill, or has it got to be Boss tonight? What are we doing?
Boss.
It's still Boss. Oh, it's old man. Old man.
I'll call you Boss.
Yeah, I know. We'll keep that to ourselves.
Yeah, how are you, mate? All right.
Yeah. Having a good time. Yeah, it's been nice. We had a lovely day yesterday with the family, and today I've been a bit went out for a walk and been lying down watching a bit of telly, watching the football, and I was all prepared. I was backstage. Now I know what they feel like when they're backstage sweating.
Is that a Jonathan Ross show, isn't it? Is that a Jonathan Ross show? We should go back and check on the backstages, Clint.
Yeah.
The guests that are waiting.
No, I mean, I was practicing my words and everything, mate.
George, got an early question in here for you from David of all people. Can you ask George about the picture he sent to the gas engineer?
That was brilliant. The cooker was playing up, and my wife said, "Why don't you ring this bloke up on one of them Trusted Trader?" And the first thing he said was, "Go down and take a photo of it." So I thought, "Oh, lovely." It's first thing in the morning. Run downstairs, took a photo of the outside of the cooker. Didn't realise how clean the wife keeps it. It was a mirror image of me with nothing on, and I sent it to him. Yeah. When I showed the wife, she said, "You better delete it." I said, "Too late." But it's a win-win. I got a box of chocolates and a bunch of flowers. It was great. I've just sent it to Clint.
I've just sent it to you, Clint.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh! Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I should put that on there.
Yeah, you got to put it on.
Clint. It's right, mate. Hey, Clint, when you're my age and you look like that, you put it anywhere. Don't worry.
That'll go viral, Clint.
Yeah, I've got boxes on, but they cut out with a little bit where the two doors join. You can't see it properly. It was funny. Made me laugh. He in the eye, the bloke.
Tell us a little bit of tell the people that are watching a little bit about yourself, mate. Where your sort of your football history, where you played.
Oh yeah, I'm Basildon boy, and started off at the local clubs there. Very young. Frank Kasky, who's Darren, is one of his boys. He Well, he's Paul was his son, and Darren was his son, and Frank. He managed a side called Langdon Hills. Played there very young, through all my youth really, and then when I was at Colchester for a period when I was about 16, got let go. And I met a fellow who let me go, as it goes. I met him about 10, 15 years ago at Arsenal. He was working at Arsenal. And I said to him, do you remember letting me go? And he went, oh, I don't know, mate. He said, bearing in mind I was 16. I said, it was probably the best decision you made, actually. But and then went into non-league football, really, from sort of ages 16, 17. And one of my heroes, really, Bobby Kellard, was manager of a club I played at very young. Taught me all the. I'm glad the referees have gone. Tell you, he taught me all the things about referees and how to deal with them, and that was my start. Really, Bob was my start of my tackling or not tackling and sending off and bookings. But I had quite a long non-league career. I wasn't the greatest footballer. I was never the best player in the side. Yeah. Bill said to me, I went, how do you get so many photos up and all them videos and photos of yourself? He went, go on Google, there's loads of it. Just put your name in. You know what I got? Nothing. I've got a couple of Billericay Town things and nothing at all. He really blew me up, that did. But just played non-league football for most of my life, really, right up until I was 42. I was at Hornchurch at 38 and then I sort of, fitness was okay. It was trying to work. I was working at Southend United doing the 5 years, doing the 16s, 17s, 19s, and then it was hard to combine carrying on playing and then getting over to the game. Like you'd have a game in the morning at Southend, and they'd be chasing across Essex or England to a game. So I got myself. I wasn't the nicest footballer in the world. A lot of people would probably would say the same, but like John Sitton, would love to have been as good as John, but football was hard in them days. It was you couldn't back out, and it's hard with the referees. I listened to the ladies earlier on, and I think because a lot of them haven't played, a lot of people haven't played football. Tackles to them look really horrible and dangerous and frightening, but to us, a tackle's a tackle. But I never feigned injury. I'm sure John will be the same. You get up and carry on, and I never ever try to get someone booked. I'm sure a lot of people try to get me booked and done good jobs with it, but it was probably worth it. But yeah, and then went into coaching, really got to about sort of 28, 30, started doing a bit of coaching and played for quite a few clubs. Started off at Heybridge, Basel United, Averley, Purfleet, when they was Purfleet, lovely time there. Tilbury, couple of spells at Tilbury. One brilliant spell at Billericay Town. We didn't have the greatest team, and like I say, I wasn't the greatest footballer, but I had a lovely time there at Billericay. We got through to the FA Vars, the fourth. I think we was in the fourth or fifth qualifying round, or one before the quarter final, and I happened to get myself sent off. In them days, if a fellow teammate of yours got hurt, you sort of would tell him that I'll sort it out, and yeah, that was me. Got sent off, and that was the end of my Billericay Town career, really. Went on to Tilbury and then started doing more coaching, management, player manager. Got Paul Hilton in there. Paul's come out the radar lately, and he's a lovely fella, Paul, great coach. Really, other clubs, Tilbury for 3.5 years, then Averley for a couple of seasons. And then for me, it's a pleasure working with him. He's new at management. He listens, and he's somebody that I want to help, and that's what I'm about. I'll help anybody as long as they're willing to knuckle down and listen. And that's where we are at the moment. It's tough. It's a tough level to work at. I think Richard put a thing on there earlier on about when I addressed the players is, I demanded that they come up to my level. I won't coach and come down to their level. I can't do it. It'd be wrong of me to do that. But we've got some very good, talented players there, And we've got a few that, you know, real triers. Some lads that turn up every single week training. They're not even in the squad or the team, but they still turn up. And you got to give them some credit. But it's a tough level. And that's it, really, mate. It's,
I think that's when I was saying to Sitz earlier about how you remind me of him, because when he was like the whole thing he had in the changing room, I think that was because certain players wasn't performing at his level that he expected. And obviously we've seen that this season, haven't we? With players that haven't been at the level that we want to work at.
Yeah, I think everyone sees football, and there's so much punditry on telly, and there's so much people got their own opinions, and that's fine. But you know, it's the same as the referees. You got to think sometimes. I know they're going about the ladies are hard to coach, and they bring it. You know, the men are equally as hard to coach. It's you never know. We used to meet up in the morning, 11 o'clock, and get a coach to the other side of England. You don't know what's going on with half the players. The mental health awareness wasn't about them. No, you know, if you was down, people would just go, "Come on, get your head up," and you'd travel across England. First 5 minutes of the game, you might get a whack. You know, you're struggling a bit. The manager's shouting at you. You've lost your tackle. Your winger's just scored, and it's very hard. People don't realise the pressure when you're actually out there and the emotion. When I was young, I'd come off at half time and the dressing room would be spinning, you know, just running, tackling, trying to have a fight, win that tackle, win that header, boom. It's tough, and I admire the players that cope with it, and that's just how football is. And yeah, he sits.
I was saying to Kiers earlier, he done a show with Justin Gardner and Jamie Leggett last night about mental health. And I heard Justin say that the FA have banned the word "man up." You're not allowed to say "man up" anymore.
Yeah, it's a shame, Bill, because I think like I said to you, I don't think it hurts anybody. I think there's a lot of things that people cling on to. I get it at work. You know, I work on a building site, and we have to read out about diversity and mental health awareness and modern slavery. And you know, I don't dismiss it, but I'm not professional enough to understand it, and not everyone's going to do that. And like exactly what Sid said about racism, etc., things like that. It's really tough because we've all got our best mates are black, and I played with them, and I played with them, and I talked to them all day. But it was different years ago. It was 100% different. It wasn't really, things weren't put in a parcel or in a pocket. Oh, that you can't say that, and you can't do this, you can't do that. We were just human beings living a life and doing what we need to do. And I think we've all been educated by it. We're all educated people. And in our moments of weakness, exactly what happened at our ground a few weeks ago, lad, you know, a moment of weakness, and he said something he shouldn't have said. But, you know, I don't want to hang him for it, but we have to address it.
You're getting a lot of nice comments, by the way, Jude.
That's nice. They're not players I played against him, Bill.
Ellie, is it Eli Benoit?
Benoit.
Eli, yeah.
Out to heads.
Yeah. I mean, this, like just Bill will tell you how I dress people. Look, I'm not their friend.
You taught him how to head. You taught him how to head the ball.
Yeah, that's a bad one. That was, yeah. No, he's good. He was a good player, Eli. When he was young at Tilbury. Yeah, very good lad, and nice, very genuine, nice player. You know, he wasn't. He was a nice lad.
I nearly signed him for Preston once. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, he's got a lot on his plate, Eli. He's always got something going on. Yeah, there's so many lads. You know, so many lads that. You know, I've been around a lot of footballers, Bill, over the years. So I've played nearly. I think it was over 900 non-league games of football I didn't stop playing until I was 42. I had to stop. I've become a danger to the opposition, apparently. That's right. Not you know, you can't. Years ago, if someone whacked you could whack them back, and you know, you'd go off the pitch and it'll all be done, dusted. And now you can't do that now, and it's such a shame because it was part of when you remember years ago watching sort of like Mark Dennis play for Birmingham and Julian Dix, and they'd be working out how to stop the winger, and you know, if you couldn't put them in the stand, it'd be a good battle. But that's what fans wanted to see. I always believe that's what people went to see. That's the battle of the winger, how he's going to overcome the fullback and how we're going to deal with the centre half. And, you know, it's all right saying, these people are too strong and too tough. But I coached Abby the other day and I said, Abby, the best way to get around physical defenders is don't let them get near you. If you move the ball and move your body, they can't get near you. And she went, oh, yeah, I never thought of that. But it's different, you know, football's so different.
George, Covey, I've got a question for you both here from Jake saying, what's more important in this day and age, man management or tactical management? Open to anyone in the comments too.
Go on, Bill.
Well, I think in this question, man management is my job, and tactical management is George's job, because I can't compete with George's tactical knowledge and awareness, and the way he explains to the players how to make a run, when to make a run, who to put. You know, is the knowledge that George has got, and this is why I asked him to come over to Swifts. It was much more of a doing the lottery. You know, it was like I didn't ever think he was going to say yeah. So he came over and he said, "Oh yeah, I'll come over to a couple of sessions." And he's been there ever since. I said to him, "You never know, George. You might stay. You might want to stay." And luckily he has, because I think the players that we've got now, I think we've only got like 3 left, haven't we, from the first game of the season?
Yeah, definitely.
We've had to do a massive restructure of the squad for one reason or another. But it's obviously we've implemented the new formation. And we want to stick to that, whether we get beat 6-0 or whether we win 3-0. We've got to trust our ethos and our philosophy and stick with it until it works, because it does work. We've seen it work, and we just got to get the players to buy in, and they are now, George, aren't they? Really, they're the ones that we've got now.
Yeah,
they're buying into it, and it's starting to show now with the performances. They're fitter than they've ever been, and that's thanks to George. You've got a comment from Richard, who's also said, so you're benefiting him, the reserve team manager. So it's cascading, you know, the George's effect is cascading all the way down throughout the club, and it's what I brought him in to do, because it's not just you have warm up boys and Cohen boys and whatever you have at our sort of level, but to have someone who's actually a proper coach at our level is amazing for our players, and it's amazing. I'm talking to you as a mate now. It's just great to have you at the club.
Yeah, it's good. I said to you the other day, Bill, man management is something you can't teach. You can't go on courses for that. That's something that you learn and you know, through experience of growing up, your father, your uncles, and how to deal with situations. My dad's still alive. He's 84. Obviously, it's difficult to see him, but I popped over there the other day. He brought us up, and I fully respect how he brought me up. I wouldn't say it's what people would want now, but man management is Bill will learn to express himself more. The more confident he gets with dealing with things and the results go better, you tend to have more confidence. But the players, like I said to him, speaking of a fellow the other day, every single role has a different persona. If you're a manager, it's a different persona. If you're a coach, it's different. If you're a fitness coach, it's different. If you're a physio, it's different. And unfortunately nowadays, with the coaches, they tend to take on years and years ago, we'd have a physio and it would always be old Frank or whatever. You know yourself, Bill, and maybe you, Clint. That's where you'd go and talk to when you're getting treatment, and he'd say, how you doing? And you'd tell him everything. And he'd go and whisper to the manager a few things, and that's how you got because the managers didn't talk to you. It was like, you're playing, you're not playing, you're rubbish, But now it's different. We've all got our personas, and Bill's a manager, and I fully respect him as a manager, and as long as he does what I tell him to do, it works well. So no, it's fine, and he's got to learn to be a confident manager. And what he says, the players, I've always loved it. When I feared a manager, I'd look at Gary Calder was a manager. I played for him at Averley, and I'd only played about 3 games, and he'd come in the dressing room at half time, one game midweek, and he launched at me, absolutely, you good enough to play for my football club? If not, you can go. And it was only half time. I'd only played 3 games, and I went, "Of course I am, Gary." And that's how you did it. It was, you went out there and you proved him, what he was saying was right. And I think there's still a place for that. What John did on that show, a lot of people know him. My mate was a good friend with John. He played with him at Chelsea, Mark Massey, and we all know what John's like. He is a fantastic footballer. He did everything properly. And hey, there's a million managers who have done what he's done. I've done it. And there's a million managers around the world who have done what he's done. And if they tell you other, then they're lying. We've all done it. We've lost a rag with somebody and maybe not offered half the team out. That's too many for me. But, we've all done it. And, you're not proud of it afterwards. You sort of sit back and think, well, was it the right thing to do? And maybe it wasn't. But, hey, who does the right thing all the time? That's why we're human. We're not robots. But so it's man management, tactical coaching, tactical stuff. You can learn that. You can learn that and read it from a book, or you can look on the internet and you can focus it. But I don't do that. I look at things, and I have done over the years because systems have changed from 4-4-2, what we used to play. And I look at it and I think I've done it with our team. We play a system that is very similar to quite a few teams in the Premier League, but I play my front 4 different. I don't play them like in the same system, but I play it differently. And hopefully it will continue to work well. That's what coaching is about.
Just had another compliment come on the screen from Abby, your little prodigy.
Yeah.
Known him for a little while, but it's taught me a lot in a short space of time. Really appreciate it. Top coach.
Yeah. It's nice. It's not. I'm a helper person. I think that's the thing, Bill. I'll stand and talk with anyone. There's a lot of players who, even when the other clubs have been at Bostic level, and players have come and talk to me and say like, why am I not being picked? And good, bad or not, I'll tell them. I can't not tell them how I feel. And maybe the manager might feel differently, but that's what I feel. And you need to go and talk to the manager. But when you're the manager, it's lovely to. All the time. But we had it at Aveley. It's James Webster, another manager I worked under. James was great. He gave me so much to do, and there wasn't. It was like, what are you going to do, George? What are you going to do? A bit like yourself. And I just felt when the players were despondent or didn't know, hadn't been picked, that's where you real managers stand up. You go, come and have a chat in the manager's room. We'll sit down, just 10 minutes, and regular basis. Don't let it go on for months and months, because when you do talk to them, there's far too much to talk about. If you can narrow it down to every 2 or 3 weeks and have a sit down, you've only got 2 or 3 weeks to talk about. So you haven't got to think back, did he play? Did he not play? Did he score? I don't remember. Keep it. That's the best thing. Talk to your players. That's what I keep saying to Bill, is just talk to them. Get the phone up and talk to them. It's so much better.
Yeah.
Really blue. George, again, thank you for your time, man. Sorry about that, about earlier.
That's my fault. It's the technophobe. It's a pleasure. I did say I'd come on. There's so much more we can all talk about. I'm sure John will be the same, and the girls will be the same. And I'm glad you didn't ask me what you think of girl referees, Bill. Thanks for that. Really appreciate it. And I've got to go now. I tackled a referee once. I tackled a referee one game. He was getting on my nerves so much, I actually tackled him. It was that funny. Yeah. So
we'll keep that quiet because the referee.
I don't blame them all.
George, have a
good
night. Happy New Year as well.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh man, Covey, what a show, mate! What a show!
Wow, we got there. That was a long one.
Yeah, it was, mate. Well done to you, sir. Put it all together.
Well done to you. Well done to you. You're the big boss.
Mate. Seriously, like we've had, again, just to recap who we've had on. We had John Sitton on first. Again, amazing guest. Again, we'll definitely have him on for sure. Followed by Kiers and Gary Cohen. Is that correct? Yeah. Again, great guys as well. Shout out to little baby Cohen as well, who's in attendance as well. How cute. We had the female referees as well, Emma Guest and Amy Purser. Again, fantastic stories as well. By the way, that is definitely getting clipped up as well. Those funny moments. 100%. 1,000%.
And Sean's getting clipped as well, talking about a packet.
Sean talking about Brian's package. I don't know if that's what we want to do. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that one. And then last and not least, George as well. Fantastic guest as well at the end there. So what a way to see him.
We have everything today.
Bit of everything today again, and that's Grassroots. That's non-league football. That is the beautiful game that we love as well. Again, just a wide variety of guests as well that we've had on the show: referees, coaches, players, former players, the lot as well. Joined by us too as well. What more do you want? But,
exactly that. Exactly that.
Thank you guys for joining us. And as always, make sure you stay tuned in for the next
Thanks
one.
For joining. Thanks for
Take
tuning
care.
in.
Enjoy
Happy
the rest
Christmas.
of it. Merry Christmas as well. Bye bye.